Hi, I'm Jessie Ammett, your host of Valley News Now, here with our, I was going to say weekly, but bi-weekly check-in. Yes, with Veronica Redfield from Fed Resource ND, just talking some finances. What color is your money? That's our subject today. So I didn't even ask what she means by this. I just thought I'd find out along with all of you.
Yep. One thing that we do when people come in and when people don't understand what their money is we say, what color is your money? And we have red, yellow, green.
Okay.
So to describe each one a little bit, red would be the risky money, the money that maybe you don't have a purpose for, but you know it's there because maybe somebody told you to do this.
Sure.
And they don't necessarily know your plan or what your reason is or what your lifestyle, but they say you should put your money in here because that's what I did. Okay.
So you just did that.
And that would be risky.
Okay.
Because
so that one's red.
Right. Because just because they did it doesn't mean it works for you.
Right.
Yellow would be managed money. Yellow would be money with a purpose.
Okay.
So if you say I have this fund, for example, or this portfolio or this bucket of money, for example, I have it here for this reason because I'm going to pull income from it later. I'm going to buy something with this, or this is for when I retire, or this is for my emergency. You have some sort of reason, and or it's managed, which means, like, again, there's a purpose. It's not just in something randomly because someone said to do it. It actually matches you and your risk.
Okay.
And then we have green money. Green money is safe money. Green money is your least risky money. Green money can sometimes say the word guaranteed involved, but you have to be very careful. So green money is I can sleep at night money. You know, I know what's going to be there. It might not make much, even though today rates are great.
Right. But this is like savings account money.
Yes, savings account money, CD money, short-term fixed products, anything like that.
Okay.
It's just the least risky. I mean, you know what's going to be there.
Yeah.
And then, so how I said I know so money with green money, red money would be I hope so money.
Okay.
I hope it's going to be there because we don't really know because you don't really have a plan for it.
Right. Okay.
So when you're looking at all of your money in like your bank, you know, savings, you know, everything like that, plus investments, whatever you have, you want to label your money because then the next thing you could do is say, where should I be? How much green money do I need?
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily always based on age, but what people can do is an easy way is the rule of 100.
Okay.
You know, if I take 100 minus my age should be how much I should have in green money.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And the reason that you do that is the older you get, generally the closer to retirement, the least risky you're going to be because I would rather you not lose what you have.
Yeah.
Why risk what you have for something you maybe don't need?
Yep.
Or I get a lot of people who say, I'm so far behind. I need to make a lot of...
They want to make up for that time when they were young where they had a little more, they could be a little riskier, but we're not there anymore.
Well, that, and honestly, I get people who have to start over. Like, you know, if you have a divorce and they said that I was cleaned out and they're starting over at 50, and I'm like, that doesn't mean you need to be more risky because I would rather you not lose what you have. You got to be smart about it.
Okay.
So you can do the rule of 100 as a general point, but that again doesn't mean that's where you should be.
Okay.
Because it's a starting point. And also there's risk assessments, like we have one on our website you can do. It's a color of money risk assessment. It's a quick 11 questions if you go to the site and do it.
Should we go there real quick and show everybody?
Actually, the other site is under construction. Listen to me
no
say
problem.
that.
No problem. No.
If you just message us, we'll send you the link. I really apologize for that because as I just said that because it's not on this one.
That's all right. So fedresourcend.com, you can do contact us and then ask for the risk assessment.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a quick 11 questions, but then it gives you a number. And once that number is, so then you could compare that to your rule of 100.
Okay.
So a lot of times people think because of their age I should be risky or I should be least risky, but that's not the case. I am probably the most conservative person for my age. And I've been conservative for a long time. So just because I should be invested in X doesn't mean I will because I'm not. It's just a starting point.
Okay.
Or I have an example where I have a younger gentleman and he gets a lot of help and he needs every penny of what he has.
Yeah.
So if you would say, I have a 35-year-old, okay, he's got a long time till he retires, he could be aggressive. But that's not the case because when you know a situation, he can't be.
Right.
He needs that money to last him. So just because his age says he could have more in riskier assets or managed assets, it doesn't mean he can.
Right.
So
everybody's individual.
Yes.
Yeah.
So usually what I do is I start asking the questions, you know, how you feel about money, if you lose sleep at night with your money, you know, because just because that number on your age or the assessment comes up, we need to figure out where you're at really.
Yeah.
Plus the other thing is when you're in retirement, the color of your money matters, but also how you're taking your money matters. So you need to get a little bit more deeper into it with that.
Yeah, you talked about this too, and this is, again, why you need expert advice, because it gets overwhelming real fast, and then we want to just be like, we don't want to do anything with it, but that's such a mistake. Because you're doing something with your money no matter whether you're doing it intentionally or not.
Right.
I mean, if it's just hanging out there.
That's exactly it. Not doing something is doing something.
It is, yeah.
So
it's just poor choice.
Yeah. It's ignorance is bliss, but not really.
Not really, no. Yeah, you're just choosing to not do anything with it, and that's the worst choice, I would think.
Yeah. So the first thing I would tell you to do is figure out where you should be with your money. Yeah. And this is going to change over life. I always tell people, like, when the clients come in before they retire, they actually tighten up a little bit and they get a little less risky. They get more on the conservative side, and then what happens is they hit that road of, I retired. I did it. This is actually working.
Yeah, yeah. Because you think it's pretty impossible.
Oh, you do.
How can I not work?
Well, you go from saving to having to spend.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a big change, and everybody always, just like I say, you tighten up a little bit, and then we get that retirement hump. It's exciting. We get through a few months. People are like, yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
And then their score actually goes up a little bit because they feel a little more confident again. And it's just naturally based on the questions that we ask.
Sure.
Your body does that. But I'm going to take it one step deeper.
Okay.
Even though we're only supposed to do one thing at a time.
This is on the same vein.
It is. But so now knowing what color your money is, what kind of money is it?
Okay.
So there's taxable, tax-free, and tax-deferred.
Okay.
So how many of you out there, if you looked at your assets right now, any of your money would know which category it comes?
I might have to ask, yeah. I feel like, okay, I think I would know. I hope I would know, but I might not.
But you probably, and honestly, you're very normal.
Oh, good.
I say that to everybody.
Can I get that on record?
You are.
Very normal. This is true.
But knowing not only the color of your money, but the type of money is another thing. And this is where clients get confused too. Like, you know, I try really hard to slow down and not go through so many acronyms, but tax deferred is like your retirement accounts, like your 401ks, your TSBs, like IRAs, things like that. Taxable account would be an investment account that you have interest, you know, or you have capital gains, or it makes money, and so it doesn't have that tax deferred status, and every year you get your form at the end of the year. And then tax free would be your Roth.
Nice.
You know?
Okay.
So you have 3 different buckets of money. So the first thing I would tell people to do is, what color is your money? The second thing, did you see my mom look when I did that?
Yes, I did.
I feel
that
like
was good. Yeah.
And then what types of money you have, because for a person to have more control over their tax situation in retirement, you need to know 3.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not giving tax advice, legal advice, or investment advice. But for you to have a little more control, because right now, if all of your money is that first bucket, that tax deferred bucket, the IRS owns a big chunk of your retirement.
Yeah. And you might not really be totally aware of that.
How it actually works.
Yeah.
So making sure you have the proper color of money, and making sure that you have a variety of all 3 buckets of money.
Okay.
Again, tax deferred, tax free, and taxable.
Okay.
Usually I draw a little circle. Not that my art is very great, but sometimes that visual works really well.
Help.
But knowing the color and the types of buckets of money would be a good start, because most people, when they come in, they don't know, because you're busy doing your job. You're busy doing what you need to day to day.
Yeah.
And people just go, here, help.
Yep. And it's scary. And like we were saying before, you're choosing, even though you don't think you're not making an intentional choice, but you're always choosing what you're doing with your money, whether it's just sitting in your checking account or whatever it's doing.
Right.
And it could be of so much better use. And then, like you said, people, you know, I think people hear like, oh, diversify, but it's really not okay though to just like have those 6 buckets and just be like, well, whatever happens, they're diversified.
Well, and that's actually another point. Like, some people think this diversified if I go to this company and this company. Well, those companies could have you in the same thing.
Right. Could be the same color and the same type.
Right. Right. And it's not even diversification. Like, not at all. So, but that's a good point, because I have some people say, oh, I have it here, and this is going to be my risky fund, and this is my not, but they were turned out to be the same funds too.
Oh, sure.
So even when you look at the color money, if you don't have it organized and consolidated, for example, you might not be really doing what you truly need to do either.
So it almost might be better. And it's just I think the biggest point that we keep hitting home, and I don't think we can hit it home enough, is that it's different for every single person.
Oh, it sure
and
is.
It's going to change throughout your life.
Yes.
You know, and so you want to continually work with somebody for the best possible outcome for you.
Exactly, because like I have clients who come in and they may be putting off retirement, and I say, okay, but when you do retire, we're going to be making changes, because what we're doing now is not where you need to be when you're actually pulling money and you're doing things. So like, you know, we pull back the risk a little bit as retirement approaches, and then when retirement happens, we make some shifts because now we have to pull some funds from somewhere.
Right. It's the opposite. Yeah.
It's
so
like
it all changes.
Well, it's counting. They always say retirement's like climbing Mount Everest. Did I say that on here before? So like the hill up Mount Everest is a trek. Like you have to train, you have to prepare, you have to get up there because it's not no easy task, right? You get on top of Mount Everest and the view is beautiful. Yeah. That's retirement. Like, I made it. This is great. I'm at the top. Well, now you got to get down. How are you going to get down? Like,
oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's not nothing.
No,
it's not just like a plateau and now you're just here.
Right.
You have still work to do.
The going down requires skill and care and planning, just like going up. Yeah. And people don't realize that. They think, oh, once I got to retirement, here I'm done.
Right.
That's it.
I'm just spending money out of my savings account or whatever.
No.
But there's so many factors in it that the normal average person doesn't know.
Right. You spend too much money too fast. It's just like you topple down going down the hill. What does that mean?
Yeah, not good.
No, we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's you need to plan for both ways. Like you get to enjoy that minute on top, but it is like a minute.
I bet. And everybody you talk to that goes through retirement, it's like a minute. It's like they're like, yeah, I made it. You have your retirement party, you have a couple of months of like visiting friends and doing whatever, and then you're like, okay, now what?
Well, and people feel like they're on vacation for an extended period of time for the first initial period.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you've not done any planning, you might freak out a little bit about money. Be like, what am I doing? How am I doing this? Where do I go? Like, but I mean, yeah, you have that honeymoon stage of, okay, this is fun. It's still vacation. And like, wait, I'm never going back.
Right. Okay. New.
Yes.
Yeah, reorientate.
Yes, and so it's a lot of fun, but a lot of coaching is helpful too because I have people who spend money too much too fast.
Oh, for sure.
And then I have people who won't touch it. I'm like, that can be just as much of a problem.
Totally, because you need to get down the hill as well.
Yes.
Interesting.
So I think that's a good circle of like.
It is, yeah. So what color is your money? Where is your money?
What type is it?
What type is it? There you go. Yeah, what type is it? And so the risk analysis too, like we talked about, that general rule of 100.
Rule of 100 is your age, and their age is what should be in green money according to the rule of 100.
Okay.
And then the rest could be a mixture of red, yellow money type of thing. So, but again, it's not a lock.
Right, it's not a lock. So you want to get that risk assessment too, so you can contact you for that. I'm just going to bring you over to the website one more time, fedresourcend.com. And yeah, you don't have to do it alone. I love that. Because there's plenty of things you have to do alone. This is one that you don't. Yeah. So Veronica Redfield at FedResource ND, just such a great resource for us, such a great help in understanding. I think even just the fact that like you don't have to, well, we just said it, you don't have to do it alone, but you don't have to know everything.
Well, and I have people come in and they're like, how do people do this without you? Like,
yeah, I don't know. No.
And I mean, it's the ones that come in that are working with me and I'm giving them all this information and I'm helping them and I'm telling them what it means to them, and they don't have to figure anything out. They just ask questions.
It's literally a full-time job.
Yes.
So yeah, go to the person who's doing that as a full-time job.
Right. Yeah. And it's fun. I love it.
It is. Yes, you do love it. That's what's so much fun. And I do like to always say that our segments aren't sponsored, and I want you to know that just because the fact is it's not, because somebody paid for a commercial, it's because she has really great resources and this knowledge that she wants to share with you, and so do I. So
I do believe that education is key. So the only way you can learn is by actually getting out there and teaching.
Right.
So that made sense, right?
It totally made sense. Yeah. So whether you go to FedResource ND or you go somewhere else, the point is just for some education, some information on how to better manage your own finances.
And it takes time. So just don't be upset if it doesn't. Because I had a gal in, she has been my client for about 5 years.
Okay.
And she was in the other day and she's like, I finally understand. She's like, I finally understand this. She's like, when my husband and I first came in, he did all the talking, he did everything. She's like, I knew nothing. The last 2 appointments, it's just been her. And she's like, what you say makes sense.
Like, I get it now. Like, I've had enough. I've had some education now.
Yeah. And I mean, 5 years of repetition. I joke that's my job, but I mean, that's what I'm here for.
It is, though. Yep.
But living through it and actually understanding and like repeating how it works and up with what changes happen. Like
well, that's just it too. Staying on top of all the changes is crazy. But it's like anything, it makes me think of, the things you need repetition for, like diet and exercise or whatever. I can be told the same things probably every day.
Well, you need to shower every day too. So I mean, there's repetition, right? That's the joke I always heard.
That's true. And it is. That's really funny, actually. But it's funny that we don't that we think somehow we're supposed to know everything about how to manage our retirement funds. And it's so overwhelming, and there's so much going on.
It is. And I tell people, I'm like, and don't feel bad, because a lot of people feel bad that they don't know anything.
I did. Yeah, it's just like you're embarrassed, but I don't know why.
Don't, because if you talk to me about your job, my eyes would glaze over just like I make yours, unfortunately. So don't ever feel embarrassed. It's the best part of starting.
Yeah.
Like it's such an eye opener. Like sometimes people are like, I can do this, or crap, I should probably make a change. Like, what should I do over here? And sometimes little tweaks is all you need, but you don't know if you don't figure it out.
Right. And you make it so doable too. You're not going to change. You know, I was like, okay, I'm not spending any money on this and any money on that. And you're like, okay, that's not going to be fun. Number one.
That's not realistic.
It's not realistic. Yeah. It's, again, back to dieting. It's because my background is nutrition. So prior to this life, I was a dietitian. That's why I keep going back to this example. But you can't make this crazy change and like starve yourself. It's just never going to work.
Right, because they say small changes. Like, don't they say like what is it, a slow process? Like,
yeah, because those will stay. Those will stick.
How you create a habit is you do one small thing at a time, and it ends up being a bigger thing.
Yeah. So she's not going to say, you can't spend money on, you can't ever go out to eat ever again, and never buy any clothes and all
That's
the
actually the opposite, because I say we need a budget for that, because you're going to do it whether I tell you to or not.
Right. Whether you think you're going to like, no, you're not going to do it, you will. So it's so much better. It just, to me, it was like such a relief off my stress level and my plate to go like, oh, okay. I actually can do this.
And you have to plan for what's in your life. So if you like I have shopping sometimes, it's just a little literally comment. Yes. I have fur babies. I have grandchildren.
Oh,
I had a couple it was probably a couple months ago now, but he goes in, we need to talk about this budget. I'm like, oh, and her head just went down.
Oh.
You see that grandchildren line? She's not staying in it. I was supposed to tell her.
Oh, he wanted you to be the bad guy.
Yes, as her head went down.
It's like, yeah, that's not a bad idea to start a grandchildren column before you have grandchildren, because I have a feeling I will be exactly like that. They will be spoiled rotten. So maybe we'll have to add that to my next time I'm in.
There we go.
Grandchildren starting fund.
Yes. But I also joke that I have these big blow-up boxing gloves in the back of my office that I have yet to blow up. But if I need to blow them up and put them in the meeting room and leave, I can let people duke it out themselves, and then I'll come back in when they're done. They're sitting in there. I just haven't had to blow them up
yet. They are at the ready.
They are.
You're so great. And I always have to talk about this, but you have all the snacks, like anything somebody could want. We got their little stress release stars that she's got, and it's, they're just great. It's like, okay, I can do this.
And we have Sue, who's our candy pusher, because she brought me the bin of candy, which is a big candy bin, and she's like, we're almost out. It's half full.
Okay, Sue.
And then Molly was hiding some of the candy, so she put some back in there. She's like, well, I don't eat it, but I grabbed it. I'm like, you don't have to put it back in. I will go buy more candy.
Yes, but just make Sue feel okay.
Yes.
So, you have a great staff there.
No, it is awesome. Because
it's so fun.
A great team. Like, Sean,
seriously.
Molly, and Sue, they're awesome to have around. They put up with me, and I'm like office tornado is what I'm called, because I literally stir stuff up all the time because I don't stop.
What about, which is good.
Yeah.
That's what makes it all fun and
They would be so
amazing.
bored without me.
They would, yeah.
And then plus, it would be just so boring.
Right.
I mean,
we don't want boring. We want fun. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, you think we are caught up? Too bad. I got some more ideas for you.
Oh, there's always something coming.
There sure is.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm going to put your title back up here.
Oh, yep.
Thank you so much for coming in, Veronica.
Absolutely.
I sure appreciate it.
It's fun.
So, contact her. But contact somebody and make sure that you're looking into what color is your money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm Jessie Emmett, your host of Valley News Now.